All right, let's dive in. For this explainer, we're going to wind the clock way, way back, about 2,000 years actually, to decode an ancient and incredibly sophisticated system for understanding life itself, Hellenistic astrology.
So when you hear the word astrology, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's that little blurb in a magazine, right? Or maybe an app on your phone that gives you a quick daily horoscope.
Well, what if I told you that 2 millennia ago, in the cultural and intellectual melting pot of ancient Alexandria, astrology was something else entirely? It was this complex, beautiful art and science, a mix of astronomy, mathematics, and deep philosophy. And the goal? Oh, it wasn't just to predict if you'd have a good Tuesday. It was to understand the entire map of your destiny.
So, where did an ancient astrologer even begin with a task that huge? It all started with the single most important question, the one thing that set the stage for everything else. Were you born during the day, or were you born at night?
This fundamental concept is called Sect. It comes from the Greek word Airesis, which means choice or faction. So before looking at a single planet, before even thinking about a zodiac sign, the astrologer had to figure out which team your chart belonged to. Were you on the day team or the night team?
And you know what? The rule for this was incredibly simple. If the sun was anywhere above the horizon when you were born, you have a day chart. That makes the sun your team captain, the light of the day. But if the sun was below the horizon, you've got a night chart, and the moon steps in as the light of the night. This simple little distinction, it's the master key to unlocking the whole chart.
Okay, so now that we know about the 2 big teams, day and night, let's meet the players. Because this idea of sect actually splits the planets themselves into 2 distinct factions.
So the diurnal, where the day team has the Sun, Jupiter, and Saturn, and the nocturnal, or night team, has the Moon, Venus, and Mars. And then there's Mercury, who's kind of a free agent, a cosmic chameleon that just adapts to whatever conditions it's in. And this is so important. A planet is considered way more effective, more constructive, when it's in a chart that belongs to its own team. It's like having the home field advantage.
Now, within these teams, you have what the Greeks called the euergetes, or the benefics. These are Jupiter and Venus. You can think of them as the good guys. Their whole job, their fundamental nature, is to bring things together, to create harmony, growth, and good fortune. They're all about expansion and attraction.
And on the other side of the coin, you have the kokopopoi, the malefics. That's Mars and Saturn. Their nature is to separate things, to create challenges. Mars brings that sharp, sudden conflict, while Saturn brings those long-term, slow-moving limitations. But, and this is a big but, they weren't just seen as evil. They were the forces that test us, the cosmic personal trainers that forge strength and create structure through difficulty.
All right, so we've got the charts team and we've met the planetary players, but Hellenistic astrology had this other layer, one that was much more mathematical and, honestly, kind of mind-blowing. It used a system of hidden coordinates, all calculated from the positions of the sun, the moon, and the ascendant.
These are called the lots, or kleroi in Greek. Now, these aren't actual planets you can see in the sky. They're super-sensitive, calculated points in your chart. Think of them like hidden keys that unlock a much deeper story about specific parts of your life. And the 2 most important lots get right to the heart of this ancient philosophical debate. You have the lot of fortune, which is all about your body, your health, and the physical circumstances that just happen to you. It's your lot in life, so to speak. But then you have the lot of spirit. This represents your soul, your mind, your ambition, all the actions you consciously choose to take. It's fate versus free will, written right there in the math of your chart. How cool is that?
So that's the blueprint, right? A static snapshot of the sky from the moment you were born. But how does that actually describe a real life, one that unfolds over decades with all its twists and turns? Well, this is where it gets really dynamic. The ancient astrologers used these really powerful predictive techniques called Time Lord techniques. The idea is that different planets rule over different periods of your life, and the most important of these was a technique called zodiacal releasing. This is basically how an astrologer could hit play on your birth chart, using those lots of fortune and spirit as starting points to map out the major chapters of your entire life.
Here's the basic idea of how it works. You'd start from the zodiac sign where the lot of fortune lands. That sign and its ruling planet then become active for a set number of years, defining that chapter of your life. So if it starts in Aries, ruled by Mars, that period might be all about action and conflict. Then, when that period ends, the next sign, Taurus, lights up, and the focus shifts to Venus-ruled themes like stability and resources. And this just keeps going, chapter by chapter, creating a whole narrative arc across a lifetime.
So what was the point of all this? All these complex calculations and cosmic teams? Was it just about fortune-telling? Not at all. The role of the ancient astrologer was actually much more profound.
They really acted as philosopher guides. Their ultimate goal was to analyze all the challenges and opportunities woven into a person's destiny, their hymermene, and show them how to live in greater harmony with it. The whole point was to understand the terrain of your life so you could navigate it with wisdom, with grace, and with purpose.
And really, that leaves us with one final thought. This ancient system was designed to give you a detailed map of your life story, all its major themes, its turning points, its big chapters. So the question is, if someone handed you a map like that for your own life, a guide to your cosmic blueprint, would you want to read it?